Hey guys, welcome to my channel. So today's video is going to be a first impressions on the Carter Beauty half measure dewy foundation. This foundation, it's a water-based foundation, it's hydrating, and it has light texture, dewy finish, and it's light to medium coverage. This was about £10 from Boots, and I got the shade Caramel Chew. That's what it looks like. That's exactly how it comes. It doesn't come in an outer packaging or anything like that. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to use the Pore Filler Primer by NYX. This is the primer that I always use. Just want to make sure that this foundation has a even chance to perform. So this foundation, it comes as like a dropper. That. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take about 3 drops of this first. 1, 2, 3. That's what it looks like. Okay, this is supposed to be light to medium coverage, so okay, so this foundation is actually blending in quite well. It does feel hydrating, it doesn't feel drying at all. It has actually covered, it has made my skin tone even, like you can't see that much of the redness, but I do have quite prominent acne scars and quite dark birthmarks, so because light to medium coverage I don't expect it to cover that at all, but it has given a nice amount of coverage with 3 drops of this foundation. Okay, so this foundation hasn't, I do have fine lines underneath my eyes, and it hasn't settled into that. It hasn't caked up, but I've got active acne, so around here it hasn't caked up or got stuck to the dry patches there. It is hydrating, it is giving a nice glow too, and it doesn't feel thick or heavy on the skin, which is good. Okay, so this has covered up quite a bit of my acne scars, even though it's light to medium coverage, but I still have some showing. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go in with the instant anti-age eraser concealer by Maybelline, and just add a bit of this. I think I need it. This concealer actually blends in quite nicely on top of this foundation, because sometimes what happens is some concealers when you put them on the foundation, it just moves the foundation around, it just doesn't blend in nicely, and this actually blends in quite nicely. So far I actually really like this foundation. It's quite lightweight, it doesn't feel heavy, hasn't caked up at all. It actually feels like when nothing on my skin, and it looks like that as well, because I've got really minimum makeup like base on my skin. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to finish the rest of my face and then come back for our final thoughts on this foundation. Okay, so final thoughts on this foundation, right? I have had this foundation on for about 5 hours now, and as you can see the lighting's changed quite a bit because it's quite dark now. I've had this foundation on for about 5 hours now, 5 to 6 hours, and I have to say that it's really lightweight. I had it all day, I didn't feel like that. My skin felt really heavy, or I had like something really heavy on my skin. I just really like the way that this foundation felt on my skin. So it hasn't dried, so it hasn't gotten stuck to any of my dry patches on my skin. And this actually looks like, so it looks like I don't have, okay, I don't know how to describe this. Like, it's not caking up, it's not oily, it's glowy, it's not oily though. It hasn't separated anywhere, because usually my foundation separates around my nose like this, here and here, and then on top of my nose, which is quite weird. But this foundation actually has not done that. It stayed put. It hasn't creased under my eyes, it hasn't sat down, it hasn't settled in my eyes, like under my eyes either. It hasn't actually budged anywhere, like it hasn't come off from anywhere. It doesn't feel drying. Oh, I really like this foundation. And my skin's glowing, and it actually looks like that I don't, like I have like really like a really thin base, because obviously it looks like I had to have makeup off, because obviously like I do. But I think for the summer this foundation would be really good. Like, it's really lightweight, it is light to medium coverage, but considering like I've got a massive birthmark here, and I've got like acne scarring here, and I've got quite a lot of acne scarring, it did not get rid of everything, but it did give my skin an even tone, like an even, it did get rid of a lot of the discoloration on my skin. I did use a bit of the concealer of the Maybelline anti-aging eraser concealer, I think that's what it's called. But usually I just wear that concealer on my skin. I don't wear anything else. I just wear that concealer because I find that foundations and then concealers on top just makes it feel like I've got like a lot of makeup on my skin. So I don't like that feeling. So that's why I usually just wear concealers on my skin on a day-to-day basis. But saying that, this foundation, I really love this foundation. I would actually wear this foundation again, and like I put a little bit of concealer on top just to cover like wherever this doesn't cover, because obviously I've got quite prominent marks, so that's not what this foundation's for, because obviously it is marketed to light to medium coverage. But honestly, all the claims that this made, which were that this is a water-based foundation, it's hydrating, which I agree, which I totally agree. Okay, so all the claims that this foundation makes, which is that it's water-based foundation, that's why it's hydrating, agree, it's actually quite hydrating because I do have quite dry skin, and this is actually made my skin, like my skin does not feel dry at all. Because usually my, like with foundations, at the end of the day my skin feels really drying. I feels really like how to explain this, like it feels very dry and really like not hard, but you know when you have like when you wash your face with a really like stripping face wash, and your skin feels just really dry and really like not stretched, but like I can't explain that. Okay, so I have dry skin, right, and this foundation actually made my skin like feel hydrated. I do agree, like this foundation did make my skin feel hydrated. But I did have a moisturizer on, did do my skincare, but it didn't dry my skin out. That's what I'm trying to say. It didn't dry my skin out all day. My skin didn't feel like dried, or like it was drying throughout the day, or like felt like I had something on my skin. That didn't happen with this foundation. It does have a light texture, I agree with that. When I first put on my skin, it felt like I didn't have anything on, to be honest. And then when I added the foundation, it did feel like I had like a teeny bit of base on, but other than that, like compared to other foundations, this didn't actually feel heavy at all. It does have a dewy finish and it is light to medium coverage. I like that this foundation is dewy without being oily, and it's not like overly dewy, so like your skin looks really oily, but it's just like the right amount of dewiness. I really like this foundation. I really like this foundation. And coming from me, I hardly like any foundations. I only like for example, like the Estee Lauder foundation. That's the only foundation that I actually really love, and I only use that foundation on like special occasions, or like when I'm going to work and it's going to be a long day, because I know that foundation is going to last on my skin all day, and like it's not going to come from my skin, it's going to cover everything. But this foundation I really love. I really love this foundation. That's the only foundation, the Estee Lauder was the only foundation I actually really like I would buy again. But this foundation I actually really like. I would definitely buy this again, and it's only £10. I highly recommend this foundation. I highly do recommend this foundation. So that's it guys, that's it for this video. If you guys enjoyed it, then do give it a thumbs up and do subscribe to my channel. Thank you, bye.